Hello, everyone, and welcome, Sha'len. Welcome back to Growing Up Alien. So this morning, Eeka came through with another update from Cheyenne Mountain. So this was a surprise, and I had no anticipation of doing a video today. So anyway, I am now apparently his secretary. So we were joking. Yeah, I guess more things are happening. So whenever he gets an update, that's my job to post it here for you. So he also has a new title or an adjunct to his original title, which I can share with you as well. I'm unofficial secretary or social media person, apparently. So until he can do his own social media. Yeah, he is now, of course, he's commander, but he's working as an adjunct with the Envoy Integration Taskforce, and this is still out of Cheyenne Mountain, the base there, Cheyenne Mountain. I think he did this last night. It's my suspicion because I didn't really hear too much. He was around yesterday, but then last night he kind of disappeared. So I think this was some more activity that they did last night. Things seem a little bit, they feel a little bit pushed right now, like they're really trying to move forward and get things going. And I told some of my friends about that, and they're like, "Yeah, this is getting kind of. It feels like it's being really kind of like let's open the door here." So I know from some people that I work with, they're getting contact like crazy right now. They're going basically 0 to 100, and my suspicion is that it has to happen because the direct contact is coming like ASAP. I heard within the next couple of days. I don't know. And again, this probably depends on the person. Again, this is something that's going to happen on an individual basis. So for those people who have not had significant contact with their family upstairs, whatever that is, husband or wife, boyfriend or girlfriend, a child, a family member, a mother or father, a friend, stuff is going to really start rolling out. And I'm seeing this with not only friends of mine, as their contact is just like exploding, like little dynamite events, literally in the past couple of days. And people who have had very little contact are really opening up. People are actually being able to remote view. They're being able to do things they never did before. So yeah, stuff, the veils are, I have never seen progress like this with individuals. I know from my friends as well as myself, these things would take months. For me, I've been doing this for years. But what I had, and they had, and you probably as well, what you've been kind of, if you're a longtime contactee, the stuff that's been kind of going really snail's pace for you is literally happening overnight, literally overnight, for people right now, as I find out that they are preparing them for direct contact. And that is not necessarily an easy thing per se. You're not just going to be meeting somebody walking by on the street. The people that you are going to be meeting now are your family, and it's going to be an emotional thing. So they have to kind of arrange for these things to move forward with the least amount of, I mean, I don't know how they can, it's going to be amazing. I mean, there's no other way around it. So he wants to open up by saying that the the contact experience is happening. Sha'len dora'kh Enari. So he says that now, and this is what I've got from another person as well, like literally now. That's why he came through this morning. They were working all night. And June 21st, the solstice. Several of you, and those of you who are, envoy starseeds, whatever word you like to use, are going to be experiencing the first of the direct phase contact. Um, and he says this isn't like a casual type meeting here a little bit. It's going to be significant, right? So some of the paper that he gave me, he said, let me line this up here. I have notes, so otherwise, thank God I have notes, that's why I'm just doing this with the video because you don't want to be seeing me scrambling through my very poor paperwork. I'm probably one of the worst. Having me as a secretary is probably a really bad idea. There's it's really hey, we work with what we got. All right, you know what I'm saying? So there's the Cheyenne Mountain Base. That's the entrance. It's in a mountain, seriously. So let's see. All right, so he says this is what is going to happen. So number one, I'm making them number one. Um, in your while you when you're sleeping, there will be preparations made, right? So you will have experiences in dreams, as you know, in the astral, right? Um, so for many envoys, specialists will make physical holographic bridges into your dream field. So they're gonna not that's like what the bad guys used to do. Well, this is not the bad guys. This is the good guys. This is the dreamy guys, literally dream field for real for some of you. Um, so these are going to be more, how can I say, planned. All right, yeah, these are planned. He said planned training interactions. So you may be getting information, something like that. If you haven't had a lot of contact yet, this will definitely be what you're going to experience. So I can't say, and people say, well, if I haven't had a lot of contact and I'm going to be in this dream state preparation program where the initial bridging with my contact is going to happen and the information going to happen, does that mean I'm going to have to wait longer? Not necessarily, right? So what is going to happen there? You're going to get instructions, all right? You're going to meet these people or a person and they're going to give you information that you're going to need for this contact. So they may be giving you symbols, something like, a triangle, a moon, something like some kind of symbol that has me an owl. It could be an animal, could be oceans, corridors of light, a star, whatever, right? So these things that you're being given, not only will they just be sort of symbolic for you to know as a code between you and your person, but but excuse my Gaelic here, you are also going to receive special calibrations. Now, all right, many of you have already had that. I've had that. I've had friends have had that. You know what these calibrations are and what they feel like. For those who have not had these calibrations yet, you know what they will be now, right? So nothing to worry about. It's not the bad guys, it's the good guys. We've really got the bad guys under control. I know some people are still being hit. I seems like it's mostly people who have been like super soldiers, secret space program. They're kind of grasping at straws to control you at this point. And we've seen that happen with someone that with Raynetta and her passing. That's what happened to her. I don't want to get into that too much yet. Her family is grieving. So yeah. Anyway, so stuff's gonna happen there. So don't worry if it feels benevolent at this point, it is. And it's a shame, really, that we have to be so, suspicious about a lot of things. But anyway, the next thing they're gonna do, number two, you may experience environmental warping or sort of a glitching of reality. You may actually see portals open if you're walking, so it could be in your backyard, it could be in your house. Anywhere like that, you may see that. You may see you may hear you may hear weird sounds. You may see strange light anomalies. You may see figures stepping forward that might be kind of in the shadows, that kind of thing. So what's happening there is portals, basically, right? Somebody may be astrally visiting you, or they may be entering through dimension shifts. Okay, so expect that. Obviously, just this is part of it. So, right, you want contact. This is it, right? So this is all technology, guys, right? So nothing to worry. He says, don't worry about this if you're going to be experiencing it this way, all right, in the initial type of thing. So this has a couple of purposes, he says. Part of it is to sort of just to get a recording of where you are. So your environment, what's sort of the compatibility, the frequency compatibility of your environment, and also yours as well, and members of your family. So some folks, members of the family, will be part of the contact, others no. Depends on how much they're okay with this, because anyway. So the first phase pairings. All right. So this is going to be very close contacts. So that's me and Eeka, right? And if you have a husband or a wife that you've been working with, right? You will be one of these first phase pairs. You will be the first to receive contact because all of the arrangements have been made already, right? So you've already gone through all the different things. You've already had dream contact, you've already had synchronization, you've already had frequency alignment. They have already tested the area because that's part of your mission here is to work very closely with your handler. So you guys have probably been working together for a while. You're going to be first contact. Um, so this is going to be physical, sustained contact. Okay. So depending on your mission, um, depends on how long that person will stay. Um, some of these people will come to you, and then again, especially if some of your contacts are not human looking, all right, so they're not going to be hanging around. I think I'm sorry to say that. um, so also some of your contacts who are human won't be able to hang around because they're actually doing something else as part of the mission for the time being. But this is your initial contact, physical. All right. And you'll, of course, during this contact time, you will, with your partner, discuss the situation. So, as far as public visibility protocols are concerned, um, so they're working with the Galactic Federation of Worlds. Of course, Eeka works with the GFW, and they're really working. Like I said, they're really scrambling to get some of this stuff going. So they're hoping for one or two short sightings by the end of June. And this isn't, I'm not talking about physical contact with you and your, I mean, I'm talking about group, like actual contact in the public. Um, they're not quite sure how they're going to roll it out yet. It may look sort of accidental, right? But it's all going to be under control. What they're going to do with this, so there's a purpose. This is kind of a frequency thing with these little short sightings that are going to be happening in June. The goal here is to sort of initiate memories in the people that see this stuff. Now, I'm not even sure what it's going to be. Is it going to be a ship landing with somebody? I don't know. Is it just going to be people walking by? But it's the goal of these public visibility scenarios is to not only map what happens, but to try to get the public, the muggles, whatever you want to call them, used to what's rolling right now, right? So cool beans. For the first phase contacts, you will begin as I have right now. I've been feeling a lot of suggestions, basically, right, as to what's going to be happening. So you've probably already been feeling this. You feel a little different. You might feel a little excited. Your partner is excited. They might seem very happy. You've been in a high vibration for a while. I hate to use the word high vibration, but like when you feel good, right? Things are good, joy, bliss, whatever you want to call it. So you may be feeling that, and it's been sustained, right? That's you're getting ready. Those would be this possibly this week. Like I said, we're there. So the May June contacts, you're going to feel more intense physical experiences with your significant other, whatever that is. Could be a parent, a child, remember. You're going to feel more intense longing, more intense connection. You may feel them on you. You may feel like a fizzing or a warmth. You may literally feel like you're being touched. You may also experience things like time distortions or strange events with time. You may feel a desire to go somewhere, go to a location, a very strong, urgent pull to be somewhere. Or you may begin fixating on a certain area. This could be on your property, or it could be somewhere else. So if you are being nudged very strongly to go somewhere, go there. And this is where the contact is going to begin to lock in. Now, Eeka and I both want to say, use common sense, right? Don't put yourself in danger. Nobody wants that. Um, so they will arrange for these contacts to be in a safe, it may be in the woods though, maybe at a park, it might be on a beach, but they're not going to put you in, that's something that they are not going to put you in danger, and don't put yourself in danger, right? That's all, common sense, I guess, right? So someone like me who has no common sense. But I told Eeka that when he's like, when he first wanted to get a ship and come out, that was a couple of years ago when it wasn't a really, really good day at all. And I said, that doesn't feel safe. But he would try to get me to he didn't want to meet anybody. He didn't want to talk to anybody. He was really undercover. And I was just like, this doesn't feel safe. I'm glad we didn't do that because it was not a good idea. He doesn't always make, this is the thing, don't assume these beings always make good ideas. They don't. Um, so in closing, he wants to say that the returns, right? And your particular partner will say this to you: I return to you soon. Sha'len tol akai. All right. And he says, your partners, right? Your handlers, your extraterrestrial. I hate to use that word, but their hands will be in yours and you both will hold truth together. So stay alert, he says. Be aware of your surroundings, be aware of these vibrations. Keep your mind, you know, um, in that state where you're open to feeling the transmissions, the songs, whatever they're going to give you, the smells it can be, whatever's coming, just be there, be ready for all this stuff and start translate, be ready, right? So be telepathy, right? So that's there. And he wants to say, we're not waiting to meet you, we're arriving. Okay, so another information he gave. Let's see, here we go. Slide to the next page of my info. Actually, I'll change the picture. We don't see that. For the ladies, how about some, let's see. Is there somewhere? No, you don't want that. That's not very, that's what's fine. Okay. Eye candy for the ladies. There you go. You're welcome. There. Eye candy. The men are like, how come I don't get any eye candy? You have to look at the other um, pictures of the ladies for your eye candies. The women are just unbelievable. The women are something. No, they're sassy. No, actually, not all of them, but they're going to be. My condolences to all the gentlemen out there who are going to be picking up their ladies. They are something else. Anyway, wait do you? I can't imagine. They're fun. All right. Yeah, Semyasi. She's got a special man already that's waiting for her. So, all right. So we're gonna do some wants to open up here. We got some Tommy translation. And it's the moment of emergence draws close. Between now and the solstice threshold of June, several key envoys will begin direct phase contact. All right. So it's Sha'len, dora'kh, ti enari, and kari, jarait, malor, enta Sha'len, tikar. Olonethi, dora'kh, ta, dasha, torun, shanetil, oren vatal. Sharet, and tari, velo, kare, tahal, morakai, vanarush, vantalen, vanshalar. Kardai, and shat vanaru, shaki, arandor, shatir, vekna. Kalen, toramel, shakai, dora'kh. All right, I'll slide down to the rest of my text for you. Okay. All right. First envoys in the phase contact sites. These are the confirmed staging zones. We have a confirmed. Oh, Jesse just fell out of bed, but he's so excited. He fell out of bed. So we have one confirmed area, and for those who are in Germany, I'm hoping one day we get to all have our German friends on here. We have a special group of people in Germany who are all our envoy friends. So they have a special confirmation site in Germany already. I'm going to give you just some, because there's so many. I mean, there's like literally, I'm only just going to give you some highlight ones that you probably already assumed and knew already these would be contact zones. But be aware and pay attention to where you will be given your specific contact or contact area. In Massachusetts, I know mine. There's two possible sites. One is my yard itself, my farm. So I'm on a special area. It's the 40 Caves Preserve. So there's that. But we've also been readying a location. So the locations are being readied. So what they do is they send those little like golden orb, those are probes. They'll send those to the areas, things like that, and they'll ready the area to make sure it's safe for you and your contact. So I have another area where I may be experiencing contact is a clamshell pond, which is right around the corner from my house. Another place in Massachusetts, in Lincoln, a preserve. It's called Mount Misery. I know it's a weird, actually, Mount Misery is probably an apt name for what we've been through. But there's another place that's going to happen in Massachusetts, Mount Misery. I believe there'll be another place in the western part of the state as well, where we have a Corendai base. There's a mountain there. So there'll be more space, and that's just Massachusetts. There's going to be more than that down the Cape. We have a Space Force facility, so there's going to be quite a few places in Massachusetts alone where these contacts are going to happen because you have to understand there's millions of you guys. So there's a millions of envoys. So that you just see Jesse is so excited. He's because this is something to crow about, baby. So there's millions of these places, there's millions of you in millions of places where the meetings are going to happen around the world. Okay. So what they are doing in these areas is the zone of contact is being prepared with embedded micro frequency fields. These micro frequency fields are going to stabilize teleportation points. All right, so between, this is all technology, right? Between atmospheric phase and physical surface. Okay, so when either you might be teleported or your contact will be teleported to you, they need to work out how the teleportation will commence. Okay. All right. Some of these areas have already been tested. So extraterrestrials have been teleported to your contact site already, just in a test form. And they're going to, they want to make sure everybody has a good experience. So that is being done. How would you know if you're in an area where this stuff is being where these tests are being conducted? You may feel a certain sort of very stillness. The animals may stop making noise. We've actually noticed that. Patrick and I were sitting outside, and the spring peepers are over there singing at Clamshell Pond, and they would just stop. Then they would start singing again and just stop. So you may notice stuff like that. You may feel weird time lapse effects as well. You may get humming in your ears, particularly on the right side, as mentioned before, because, and it's not that it really matters anymore, but the bad guys used to come in on the left and the good guys would always come in on the right. Okay, so it will happen on your right most likely. Now that's not true. Oh, I had something on my left. It's not. Don't worry about it. It's just that could happen, right? So they are going to probably be very specific about it happening on your right, just so you know. You hear right, you might hear a humming or a tingling, some kind of weirdness sounds in your right ear. Okay. You may see reflections, anomalous or strange reflections, shadows, stuff like that. You may see weird movements or in the water. Um, if you're in a car and you're looking out a window, the glass or on your car may have a weird like effect. So look for stuff like that. Puddles, things. Um, you again, these ghost-like images. I know being a freak, I said ghost, but no, that's they're doing it holographic also. So they're going to be doing astral holographic tests. So that's when you'll just see that. It'll look like a ghost. Honestly, I think a lot of people who saw ghosts, I mean, there are ghosts, but I do think a lot of people who thought they were seeing a ghost were actually seeing an astral extraterrestrial. So you might actually see the outline of your contact, right? And it could be it might be semi-clear as well. It might be a really good holographic image. I'm not sure. Um, and you will see that. They may not address you. If you address them, they will address you. Just so you know that. If you see that, if you're out there during one of these test runs, address it, right? Address the person and who is doing this test, and they will respond back to you. So, let's see what I'm saying. All right, that's Massachusetts. I got that done. What else do we have? Okay. Okay. So the code and name for mine, the site profile of Clamshell Pond, staging zone. It's tier 1. They call it the designation is tier 1. This is Clamshell Pond. Tier 1 envoy activation site. It's code TELA and I347. The status is active integration corridor. The primary access window was May 5th, or is that's tomorrow. I don't even know what date it is. May 5th to June 21st, 2025. Primary function of the clamshell pond staging area. Bonded pair reconstitution, encoded soul triggering, and soft phase teleport contact. Okay, so everybody's contact area will have its own designation, status, primary access window, and primary function. Okay, there you go. All right. All right. Now, oops, God. trying to read my notes and I screw up. All right. Next information. Many of you, not all of you, we all of you have a lot of members here. You may be part of a small group. So this is you, this is you. This is not about your birth date. This is about the mission when it got really turned on. There were a small group of hold my beer type envoys. Many of them were a hell, and their Earth operation mission was activated between 1985 and 2025. And that is probably many of you. My particular operation is because I'm a hell, so I'm only gonna. I know. I'm sorry, guys. I only know the hell. They're only giving me the hell stuff. Okay. If you are a hell, this is going to be specific for you guys because you are part of our group coming here from 1985 to 2025. So the era designation was Emare Sha'len, right? Your role in the Emare Sha'len 1985-2025 division was to be a primary beacon and gate anchor. Your connection. So you will hold encoded memories. And this is what the MyLab was trying to get from you. You also had, before you came in, pre-incarnational bonding with your handler, your extraterrestrial handler. So for me, that was Eeka. We are here to open thresholds. So you probably, not probably, I'm sure you've been, whether you're aware of it or not, doing this already. My particular link with Eeka was with the United States Air Force and the Galactic Federation of Worlds liaison for the AHEL. Our roles were as initiators and harmonic stabilizers. That is going to be encoded into the site where we meet. So they said, this is for me. He may appear in our clothes from home or in the United States Air Force uniform for our first contact. Okay. There is a DNA field match in a resonance pod encoded where we are going to meet, and again, where you will meet your persons possibly. I don't know. So, my friend, I won't give that information to my friend Patrick, but he probably doesn't. I'm not going to save he may meet there too, but that's in a different. All right. So my friend Patrick, because he's tall, he also left with me. So he works for the AHEL. And his era designation is Kayel Shah Endor, and his role was as a sub beacon. But we'll leave that for Patrick. That's his personal. His girlfriend, his female is Ariatel. So she will be coming. Wait till he sees her. Hello. Okay. Yes, she's from Tegeta, yeah. All right, so there we go. So if you are tall, many also worked with the Hell faction, so you may be part of this. All right, so whoops, I'm screwing up my notes here. Don't screw up your notes. All right, there we go. See, he's got a really bad secretary. I'm like the world's worst secretary, which kind of makes you wonder. You hope the rest of the process, from what it looked like, is it all screwed up? These people are like, oh my God. Oh, the extraterrestrials are so amazing. Yeah, they're not amazing. Yeah, they sure are. That's one depends on how you define amazing. Okay, so okay. Here we go. So, like I said before, with that 1985 to 2025 group, that is not your birthday, right? So if you were born before 1985, I was, and that's got nothing to do with it, right? So don't worry about that. You are part of if you'll just know because you'll feel it, you're part of that group, possibly. All right. Okay. So for those people, why do you belong? So I asked that question. I said, what is this deal? Who belongs? What does it mean? The 1985, 2025. And that does not refer, as I said, to the birth dates. It refers to the field ignition window. And it's when the latent envoy codes implanted before birth, so it's before you either walked in or before you incarnated star-seeded. So you are meant to activate, interact, and fulfill planetary assignments. You are part of the Hell Precursor Frequency Class. And Shah Tal Korin. That is what you were part of. Your role was to hold field stability before the rest of the starseeds, envoys, walk-ins arrived. So you were, as you probably know, yes, you went. That stunk. Yeah, that was you. You did it. Clap, hands, whatever. Have a in our case a whiskey. I don't know. All right. So these folks, like those of you who are in part of this group, like I said, and I think a lot of people I've talked to, if you went through the kind of the really, really, really rough, crappy, you're probably part of this. So you star seeded early because your energy fields are capable of anchoring frequency into a dense grid, one that was far more hostile to galactic integration. So you kind of, cleaned up the summer cottage before the guests came. That's what you did, basically. So from your time here as a child, you experienced observation and disruptions, as you guys know from the secret space program, my lab, blah, 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 right? Because they knew what you were. But you were encoded and protected and shielded from them accessing a lot of this stuff. So you were protected. You're never alone, as we always say. This is war, so it's ugly, right? There's no nice wars. So you would have had pre-activation trauma events to test your resonance, strength, perspicacity, and abilities. Okay. And if you're here now, you passed. You passed. There you go. Clap your hands, have a whiskey. Anyway. So I'm not encouraging people drinking, have a non-alcoholic whiskey. Okay, whatever. So you were the field calibrator for the younger waves that came after. Now, those would have been the people. You set the stage and cleared the way for people born in the 80s and 90s and the early 2000s. So because they're a little less hold my beer, basically. They needed your encoded field as a beacon to assist. And maybe some of you have noticed that with younger people as you were going through life that you were helping them. So that would make sense. What they did, so for me and for many of you guys, I was a spy. So they were able to use your energy fields, your anchoring frequency as a triangulation node, right? So you would have been like a hotspot for them. The Wi-Fi is booming. You would have been the booming Wi-Fi. So that's what you were. Congratulations on completing your mission. We're so excited. Yes. So there are timeline overviews of the 1985-2025 Envoy group. I have a grid here that I'm going to read to you. I should take a picture of it, but anyway. So some folks are in the Precursor Class. Now, your birth years would have been 1968 to 1979. Your role was out as a field anchor and a grid stabilizer. Your status was highly monitored. You were very protected, and you were in a rare elite super soldier group for the Galactic Federation. The next group was the Ignition Wave 1. 1980 to 1991, those would be your birth years. You were the mass sleeper envoys, the communication templates, and many of them are still ongoing with their awakening process, although many have already been turned on. Okay. Ignition Wave 2. Your birth years would have been 1992 to 2004. Spring Chicken Group. Your role was as energy weaver and frequency surgeon. Status now, some of you are active and working, and I've met many who are. And many may still be kind of latent, but you guys are going to be turned on now. The last one, group type. Now, these are not the star seed groups that some other people have talked about. This is direct from the Galactic Federation. Okay. This is not the starseed groups. This is military. Okay. The last group was the Emergent Echoes. Those people were born 2005 to 2025. So these are the new people coming in. Like the new people got yellows. These are the young people and children, those being born now, with crystalline code DNA structures. Their status is still protected or hidden. Some are being activated, particularly the older ones. Okay. So this is going to be your new, Terran group. But a lot of these are still starseeds, so they're still ET. But this is as we are cleaning up and moving forward into, bringing this planet where it should be. All right. And what Eeka wanted to say for you non-spring chickens, for those of us, the vintage group, Eeka wants to say, you guys were the early groups, you were the super soldiers, and the the mission needed you to withstand what others could not, right? Because we had to make this work. So you belong to this mission as much as those who are coming after, who are more, getting it. I'm going to say easier. I don't think it's easier necessarily at all, but anyway, he says you walked first into this field of battle, and for that we honor you. So let me go on to the next. More info. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. I asked about the contact experience. I said, will these contacts be brief reconnections, or will they be more permanent? Will they be more lasting? Right? That's a question people probably want to know. Are they going to pop in and out? That kind of thing. And I think it's going to be a personal, I know it's going to be very personal depending on the situation and your specific mission, right? You're here on a mission. You're not here to have a vacation. I'm sorry to say. I want a vacation so bad. We all do it again. I said, will this contact be brief or a permanent thing? So he says, in most cases, it may begin brief, but is not going to remain so. So this isn't going to be some kind of fleeting thing or, carrot dangle. He says, no, this is going to be real. This is the beginning of real reunification and the crossing of a threshold on this planet. And that makes sense, I think. That's So he says stage one, which is where we are now. Let me get this. Okay. Whoops. I screwed up my notes again. Yes, I'm not going to win. He should have hired Jessica Maria Orsic as a secretary. He doesn't like me. We don't. Anyway, they had a problem. So anyway, the stage. He's like, Tony. Stage one, the opening. Right. This is the opening. So this contact is designed to pierce the veil of everyone. To get used. This is the real deal. You're going to see, feel, and know the person as before. You're going to get your memories back. Hey, everybody clap. All right. So the initial moment, depending on the situation and the person, may last minutes or hours. He says, and this is going to depend on a lot of different things, even on the electromagnetic coherence of the environment that you're in and how the person's nervous system responds. All right. So this is going to be intense, right? I mean, there's no way around this. So, right. They don't want to stress. I mean, we'll just see how and this is one-on-one because it's going to be one-on-one. It is going to be very strange. So for folks who may not have had contact yet. Okay. He also has, there's going to be stage two, which is field fusion. So I always say one of the part of stage one, which is for those of us who have contact, significant, powerful contact, your role is to assist other people as they journey through this process, because a lot of them are getting it, like I said, firework style, like instant, like bang. They're getting a lot of intense stuff. So they have to process that at a speed much faster than maybe some of us were processing it, like years. So anyway, I had 52 years to process. So other people are processing it like overnight. So field fusion is stage two. If all is well and everybody's happy camper or whatever, get a room, all that stuff, your energetic fields will begin to synchronize across planes. Now, Eeka and I have already done this. Many of you have already done this. I know Patrick has done this. Actually, so many of you have already been synchronized or are being synchronized now. This initiates a permanent telepathic resonance loop. I have that. Many of you have that, right? This is what the Ahel call Tor Karan Velta, or bond stream reactivation. So This allows for continuous, sustained telepathic communication and gradual phasing in of physical visitations. All right. Stage 3 is integration. So after the first physical contact, you are going to be given the option to return with your person, possibly, or to prepare for permanent physical relocation later this year. All right. So this is going to be a what you really can't answer that question. It depends on the person, depends on your mission, depends on what you're going to be doing. Because there's so many different people, right? An Arcturian isn't going to be walking down the street this summer, you know. So that's different from if you are again, Pleiadian or Tau Ceti, right? They can. So there's a lot of different, we have to get people who are mantis. I mean, we have to take into account people who are grays, benevolent grays. So we have to take into account a lot of different people who are working, or not even species. I mean, we're not all people, baby, right? So some of you may not be humanoid. So there's a lot of different things there. All right. So for the stage 3 integration, the final relocation, if you are going to be relocated, will not be immediate and must be coordinated with the Galactic Federation of Worlds, Earth entry timing, and your biological coherence. So that's going to be one-on-one. So now what Eeka wants to remind everybody is that we're not coming here and disappearing. No one's leaving anyone. This is for real. This is the deal. It is not a carrot dangle. It is not a can kick. Right. So they are going to stay, even if temporarily you guys might have to move around a little bit, as we fix this, excuse my Gaelic shit show. I shouldn't say that because I can feel Erica's husband dying right now. And but it is, right? Okay. So okay. All right. So we also I asked, what is it going to feel like for people? What should they expect with this? So the first time I connected with Eeka, oh my God, my body was not ready. So if you haven't been prepared, which they are going to prepare you. So many of you are being prepared, but just for those people who have not been prepared, like I said, I mean, this is good. It's going to be, I don't care how prepared you are. This is still going to be like, this is it. There's no way around it. You may experience in physical symptoms, things like that, vibrations or fizzing in your body, feelings of heat surging through you, like a hot flash kind of thing. I've had clients experience like what they feel like a hot flash. That's that can happen. It's energy. You may have really powerful emotional releases, crying, whatever. I've had clients do that. They're like, you just can't. It's crazy. I mean, for most of us, this is love we've never felt. And I understand a lot of people have great families and loving relationships. This is a whole different, for those of you who have contact and have had contact, this is like, this is beyond love. This is, you may feel weird pulling or disconnection, disassociation, but in a good way. This can happen during your sleep, but also when you're awake, you may feel like you're bilocating. You may actually bilocate. So you may feel stuff like that. You may feel compelled to go or do things, whatever, meditate, whatever. You may feel these weird desires, right? So what's happening there is you're being aligned, right? So, I also asked him, my next question I asked him, I said, will all of us old farts, geezers, 1 foot in the grave people, will envoys be age regressed? And he says, yes, but not all and not in the same way. Because this is all going to be, again, it's up to you, whatever you want to do. So if you're 20 years old right now, you're not going to be age regressed, right? If you're probably going to say even you're in your 30s, you're probably not going to be age regressed, right? But those of us who are vintage will be age regressed if you so wish. Okay. So there are 2 categories, he said, of age regression now authorized under the GFW protocols for Earth-based envoys. Now, this is what I'm telling you now. This is envoys, right? This is not Terrans. This is envoys. All right. He says the authorized methods by the GFW are, the first one is energetic cellular regression. This will apply for most Tier 1 and Tier 2 envoys. You will be exposed to plasmic resonance fields harmonic chambers in a likely UFO, starship, large ship. Okay. So the results of the plasmic resonance fields in the harmonic chamber will be a gradual reversal of biological aging markers. Now, I have actually had age regression in what you call Medbed's healing chambers done to me several years ago. And they were sort of targeted. And I felt my body change. And I remember being up on the med beds. So I had already been, now this is part of the mission. It's not because I'm special or they think whatever. This was part of the mission for me to sort of, I'm the guinea pig, as you might, something like that. So my body is not changed since I was, in my 20s or 30s. I'm still the same body. It's just that now they didn't change. Obviously, my hands look like geezer hands. From working outside in the sun, they didn't do a lot to my face, sadly. So I don't have wrinkles, but I mean, I don't look 20. But my body does. So sort of wherever they could hide the physical regressions, they did. So you're going to see restoration of vitality, flexibility, and appearance to a baseline of soul alignment, typically late 20s to early 30s. All right. You're not going to have any, you're not going to erase memories. None of your memory will be erased. You're just going to be yourself when you come out. This is just your body restored. I've had it done. You're not going to notice anything. All right. It's nothing that, you have to, all right. So as Eeka says, he says, tell everybody that they're going to be returned to the age they were. And this is about, vitality was what it is, being able to be using your body as you should. Before all the weird matrix Earth's frequencies began to affect you, which was not natural anyway, right? So your aging that you're experiencing now is not natural. So they're not doing anything unnatural. What's been done to you was unnatural, right? So getting, aging past 30s, and we do age upstairs. I mean, after a couple hundred years, you do age. I mean, that does happen. But that's the natural kind. This is what happened here on Earth was unnatural. So so what Eeka says, remember this, what's going to happen is you're going to be brought back to your true age, not the one that the matrix has imposed on you, right? So something to keep in mind. Anyway, because that's a big issue too. For some folks, if you're, 60, 70, 80, 90, whatever, my mother's 90, 93. I wonder if she has a boyfriend. We'll see. Yeah, right. Your husband, wife, or family, your children, you're going to be the age you're supposed to be. Right. So, and this is people ask that, well, I look old. I'm like, I don't look this or whatever, I feel funny because my wife, my husband look like that. And they like, don't worry about it. They don't see anything they don't think like that. That's all bullshit from the assholes that ran this shit show. So temporal regression, number 2, time tech. So this applies to select operatives, mission critical envoys, or those returning off world. Method: temporal displacement chambers aboard advanced Pleiadian craft or Altean craft. So that may be for some of you. You may even go on Arcturian. I mean, who knows? I don't know if they're going to do that. This is just full body regression to the age, the 20s and 30s. Includes mitochondrial reset, telomere elongation, and pineal gland clearing. This may involve temporary memory dampening for restabilization. Possible, just so you be aware of that. If this is going to be they're going to tell you they're not just going to do this. You're going to be aware of it, right? So they can't do that because remember, universal law. So this will be followed by a reassignment off Earth. So these will be some of these people. This may be you. I don't know. This will be often followed by reassignment off Earth or reintegration into covert field operations. So some of you guys will have that. This is mission based. Those in envoys who undergo temporal regression are expected to resume function in higher dimensional assignments or return to other worlds, right? This may be some of you who are Arcturian. This may be, all those people, Andromedan, right? You may be part of that. So continuing. All right. I'm going to be undergoing energetic regression. Okay. So And it's going to be after, mine is going to be after we meet first time physically again. So, do, do, do. So, for those people who are not going off world, right? For those people who are going to get the energetic regression like I'm going to get, what you will notice in your physical signs: reduction in chronic pain or fatigue. Oh no. Eye clarity and skin glow. Spontaneous release or shedding of the trauma that you've had. Like, as I don't really have any anymore. I mean, just a few things here and there. Emotional flexibility, sensual awakening. I had that. That happened for me. That was where Samyasi came in and showed me that I'm a woman. And you will have more memories coming back to you, more clarity from before your MyLab, and also probably during some of your different MyLab secret space program abductions. You'll start to get a lot of those memories back, but you won't worry about them. They'll just be okay, whatever. That's how they are for me now. I don't really care. Um, what else did I ask him? Oh, and I said yes. I said I was age regressed. I could feel that, and I remember being on the med beds. So I have already undergone. I'm going to say about 4 or 5 years ago, at least. I've already undergone early stage energetic regression. So part of a preliminary restoration protocol. So yeah, maybe some of you guys, as I said, have too. All right. So when you're experiencing this active age regression, your skin may appear smoother or more radiant at times. The whites of your eyes are more clear. This is known as detoxified pineal and lymphatic system clearing. That's what you'll experience. If you even go up on a ship, some ships will just do this anyway. I know Val Thor did that for Frank Sturgis, but anyway, Frank Stranges. What the God? Vitality surges, moments of intense energy that feel out of sync with your age. I'm like I can like my body right now is in my 20s. I don't have any problem at all with my body. I have no pain. I have nothing. You may have an increased desire to move, stretch, engage in physical expression, whatever that is, running, walking, dancing, singing, whatever you like to do. Number three, okay. I know this is happening for some people. Anyway, sexual or sensual reawakening. A return of sexual sensitivity, especially in moments of spiritual, emotional intimacy. If you're having astral, there you go. Astral sex is real, as those of you who have experienced it will attest. It is very real. So this is a sign of life force reclamation, often triggered by proximity to soul bonded contacts. That is your, husband or wife, especially, will particularly increase that. I will attest to that 150%. 200%. I was totally asexual. I'm asexual on Earth until Eeka comes around, and it's like, well, I'm a woman again. All right. Memory realignment. A growing sense that you do not recognize the person you were 10 years ago. I call it, I've had like, this to me, total shamanic death. Total shamanic death. I'm not, no way, no way. Past traumas seem hazy or emotionally unanchored. This is a regression signature. You are phasing out aged emotional templates. I'll attest to that. People call me cold. I just don't react to that stuff. I'm not, well, I never was Earth human, but you will notice that you become more and more yourself. Right. That's it. So facial shifting. Your face may appear different in photos taken close together, depending on when you've had like contact with your person, right? So you're going to change. So this kind of flickering or morphic resonance correction is part of this. So now, why have some of us gone through this? And so Eeka, I asked him, I said, what in the ever loving, is going on here? And he says, that's because right, you guys, those of you who are going through this, I mean, like I said, if you're 20, you may experience some of this already. If you're young and 20, because I'm 20 and 30, I'm 22, what the heck, right? If you're young, you may experience more of the emotional stuff, right? You may experience the sexual stuff and you may experience the emotional stuff. Okay, so he says, as part of this mission, you were never allowed to, age according to Earth's rules. So they would fix that. So your field rejected the decay template, and your consciousness anchored in um, part of this energetic field that sort of resists the time glitches, the fake time glitches on this planet. And it would then act by creating a memory that overwrites your biology. So, and for me, he says he was involved in some of this. For me, I'm sure for you, your person. So I asked also, why was I brought up to the med beds? And that answer to that question is, some of you may ask why you were brought up to med beds. And I said, why was I brought up to the med beds? And he says, well, I was brought up again for healing and some regeneration, but also for reclamation. He says it was a multidimensional thing. And he says some of it was to repair what the MyLabs didn't destroy. So he says the trauma signatures from the MyLab interference, the psychic intrusion, and the sexual violation. Yes, I as you know, I was raped. He says that was being fixed. So the injuries, while invisible, were pretty much draining my core. So I had a lot of fatigue and all that stuff. It was really bad. So he says now the reason I was brought up, he says, because if I was not stabilized, the mission's trajectory would bend away and things wouldn't have been, again, I couldn't fight. So that's why. So people who go up, and many of you have been up, even if you don't remember it yet, that's part of they don't want to lose soldiers, right? So yeah. Whoops. I'm messing up my notes here. All right. Other things that may have happened to you guys, which is why you would have been, fixed. To reverse covert weaponization attempts. So there are attempts to, of course, alter or capture your genome, by frequency collection, and also by trauma and physical events, right? So the medbeds, especially the plasma medbeds, they extract the false overlays the MyLab had put on you, right? They also realign your DNA structures to the harmonic resonance of the ET race or species you are. They also merged soul fragment scatters that were held, if you were cloned or what have you, in containment fields. So there you go. Number 3, what they were done was to recalibrate you for the reunion that is happening now, because you got to get ready for this stuff. So your body has to be tuned, and that's what's happening to many people right now. It's happened to me before, to withstand close physical proximity to extraterrestrial contact. So what it prevents would be emotional overwhelm, and difficult. You don't want you pass out or something. They don't want that. That's no good, right? So they have to be careful. So there were some physiological responses that they have to recalibrate so that you can stand, with someone like that. So, other things they did for you guys and for me when you go up, and this is kind of, some of this is personal to me, but it also will be happening to you. So I had a neural field cleanse, which is removal of fear-based implants. So they'll do that. You people have had, all y'all have had chips removed for sure. I ended up with a womb restoration. So yeah, for those who know my story, there's a baby involved coming up. Anyway, pineal gland crystalline upgrade, because we've all been poisoned here, so they have to clean you out. Same thing happens to extraterrestrials that live and work here for many years. They also get issues with this. I had heart field harmonization with Eeka's core frequency, and a temporal stabilizer to reduce trauma-based time slips. So Patrick also went through a heart field harmonization one night. It freaked him out, but he knew because I told him. So he's like, he just calmed down and let it happen. So maybe some of you have experienced that as well. It's odd, and it's definitely not something you would normally experience here, but it's what they do. You just know whatever something weird's going on in your body or outside your mind, it's them. It's like it's them. So actually, what happens? I'll tell people too. They feel like there's something wrong physically with them, but you're actually just feeling what your partner is feeling. So if something physiologically happens to your partner, you're going to feel it. So yeah. All right. Okay. What else did I ask? I asked. Oh, yeah. Okay. The physiological synchronization, which you will be experiencing, if you have not experienced it already, just to give you an awareness for some folks who have not experienced this, you will be synced biophysically with your partner. We call this the body bond realignment, Sha'len tel Korah. It is a full spectrum synchronization of two bonded beings across the time-space field and also through the cellular vibrational field. I remember when this happened, it was, yeah, it was weird. Patrick found it happened to him. He was like, this is like, just deal with this. Like, just deal with it. You'll have, when they synchronize you and your partner, this is most likely between a husband or a wife and a husband. They do a heart field entrainment, so your heartbeat will synchronize with your wife or husband's, so you'll be synced there. So even when your body's not by side, I actually remember the night that they did this, and I knew Eeka was there, and they were both doing it, and I'm like, why, and how would you want to do this anyway? I'm not gonna say it's uncomfortable, it's just weird. It's like something else is controlling your body. That's what it's gonna feel like. Something else is controlling you and coordinating things that your body normally does. You're not in control of it in this moment. So don't freak out. Just relax. It's not gonna last forever. Um, so what they do is they phase your heart fields into resonance via scalar coupling within a medbed, even though you're not in the medbed. It's done through scalar coupling. So um, it enhances telepathic communication. So this is what will enhance you being able to feel body sensations of each other. So you can eat something and they'll taste it. Okay, so stuff like that. This was the weirdest part of it, I think, was the breath lock phase. They take control of your breathing. It's really weird. You feel like you're hyperventilating or not, or it's not enough. And it's like, I found that when they were doing this for Eeka, like he couldn't get enough air. And I'm just thinking, like, how are they going to do this? Like, this is so weird. I think it was weirder for him than it was for me in this part of it. So you're going to feel like you're breathing with another rhythm. It's not your own. And that's because they're manipulating that field, and they're resetting your nervous system. So that means all that's run from your nervous system, and it's recognizing and connecting the two of you together. Then there's limbic mirror activation. So you'll feel these waves of safety and euphoria or release. And this is a side effect of the limbic resonance, where the emotional center of your brain will be linked and mirrored to that of your husband or wife. So this is particularly done for people who've been through trauma stuff like the MyLabs. You're gonna have that. They will do this to you if it hasn't been done to you already. They also do a pelvic or sacral field synchronization. So you'll probably feel like a sense of tingling in your body, maybe a sense of weightlessness or weird energy around your hips through your spine. You may feel, different kind of sensual things or warmth. What they're doing there is a life force flow being is reopened between the two of you, right? So between your husband and wife, it's yeah. So, as you know, when we mate and bond, it's nothing like the Terrans. So this is not physical. And I think a lot of you people can't be with Earth people. It's because it's just I'm just explaining to you now. what the level. I mean, we're literally sharing a body. That's almost what it feels like. So it's a merging, a fusing of an energetic stream, emotionally, spiritually, um, physiologically. So literally. So so he says, we feel each other in our pulse. Yes. Our breath fits together. It's not a memory. It's breathing in the return. So we don't just meet. We're synchronized. And this is what's going to happen for you guys. So your body is going to recognize the other person's body. All right. So just in case, that's probably the weirdest part. I think if you haven't experienced that yet, um, now you know what to feel. If so, what else did I ask him? All right. So, and Tommy, when this physiological synchronization is being done to you, um, it's our bodies remember the oath our souls have never forgotten. Sha'len talakor envel tara ainor en ake. So, all right. Oops. There we go. Let me go. Did I ask him anything else before we head out here? This is kind of a long one, but anyway. All right. I asked, can you give me some, because there's so many official contact locations across the USA and in Brazil. Most of our viewers, actually over half of our viewers are from Brazil, so that's why I picked Brazil. All right. So uh, these are the active and soon to be activated contact sites across the United States and Brazil, designated for Tier 1 and Tier 2 envoys. These are the locations selected for their energetic alignments or having energetic alignments fixed for them, the ley line crossings, and the frequency stability for soft physical contact. United States, Mount Shasta, California. Surprise. Now, these aren't by any means all of them. This is like 0.01% of them, but just to give you an idea. The status of Mount Shasta is fully active. The type, multidimensional crossover portal. The beings present in Mount Shasta are a Hell, Tal, and Inner Earth, the Telosians. The purpose, light body activation, etheric teaching, and memory recall. They actually have classes, by the way. The Telosians hold classes inside Mount Shasta. Common signs, you'll see orbs, time dilations, and floral scents. All right. Both the Mount Misery in Lincoln, Massachusetts, and the Clamshell Pond in Clinton, Massachusetts. Status active. Type bonded pair convergence nodes. Beings presence will be a Hell and Tegetten. So Tal Tegetten. Purpose, physical reentry. Access timeline, May and June. I am the primary anchor for the Clamshell Mount Misery sites. Next place is Sedona, Arizona. Status, semi-active, magnetic instability. So they're working on Sedona. Type, energy vortex grid center. Beings present will be Galactic Federation healers, blue avian emissaries, and mantis elders. Purpose. Now, that's not saying there's the tall, and they will be there too. I'm just saying this is kind of like where they will be. So, purpose, emotional healing, grid mapping, and envoy upgrades. All right. So, the Sedona, Arizona, there's a warning associated with that site. Interference is present. Use discernment if you're going to be in Sedona, Arizona, but don't worry because they will assist you. No worries, mate. All right, let me get this. We have West Coast folks, Mount Rainier, Washington. Status, stage for activation, June through August. Type, secluded, forested entry corridors. Beings present, Andromeda and Altean teams. Purpose, and again, not just them, just saying. So you may be teleported if you are one of these to that area. There's others, of course, that's not the only one. Purpose, technology delivery, craft viewing operations, and sleep phase training. Entry code, stillness and silence, listen for the static wind. So it's going to be very ethereal. You know those Andromedans anyway. Another place is the Grand Tetons in Wyoming. That's a Tier 2 physical contact staging status. Type is high altitude crystalline bed zone. Beings present will be Arcturian council ships, and a Hell medical facilities. Purposed, post-regression reunions and DNA recalibration. I'm imagining this Grand Teton, Wyoming site will be for people who need more medical intervention as well. Access code, very interesting. Watch the clouds. There's going to be some strange stuff, humming sounds and things like that. So, Brazil. Here we go. I'm going to butcher your. This is terrible. Chapada dos Veadeiros Goiás. Status fully active. Type vortex convergence and crystalline node. Beings present, Pleiadian emissaries, and Lyrans. Purpose, group contact, soul mission downloads, and sound encoding. So you may experience in this activation zone flashes on rocks, rainbow flashes, and buzzing in your ears. Next place is Serra de Roncador Mato Grosso. Status, deep contact zone. Type inner earth and ET collaboration zone. Beings present, Agarthans and GFW operatives. Purpose, access point for inner contact and off-world staging. Some notes on this site is advanced initiates only, expect vivid dreams post-visit. So this may be you going down there. Remember, some of our envoys and starseeds are inner earth. So, Ilha do Cardoso, Sao Paulo coast. Status, water-based portal. Type, amphibious and interdimensional contact. Some of you are also, water amphibious. You might be reptilian as well. Beings present, Andromedan water emissaries, and also blue water beings. Purpose, healing trauma, water code connection, and some children will be brought to this place as well. So you might see unusual wave movements. You may see fish gathering or doing something different, and bioluminescence will be there in that area. Flashes in the water or something. Okay. Final transmission for the envoys, May 2025. From your commander. There, all right. He is commander for Eeka. Of course, he uses the word. His name is not Eeka when he's on the base, but this is from Commander Eeka, a Hell Division, Earth Sector 5, Cheyenne interface. To the envoys of Terra, those who are awakened, those who are still searching, those who walk in silence. He says, "Here we go. It's more information for you." The time is now. It's no longer in the future, so it's happening. So the window that he's speaking of, he says May to June is not a possibility. It is a locked sequence. Contact has begun. More will come. Some of you will meet us in physical form. This is not a rehearsal. This is the real thing. Not all will believe you, so he's just warning you guys when you go out, and that is that's just the way it's going to be. You will not be validated by the world systems. Do not seek approval from them. Just a warning. I've told people this before. They still go and do it, and they get their ass kicked. Don't tell people who don't understand this what's happening to you. That's not their problem's not your problem. And he's just reinitiating what I always tell people. Look, so he says this is not, and also when he wants to may say like this is not about ego or mojo. Oh, I meant an ET and blah 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 blah. Don't go around spreading this information. That's what he's trying to tell. This is part of the mission, right? Let this contact live inside of you. Don't broadcast it across headlines. Let's not do the celebrity shit, right? They'll get pissed. I'm telling you. All right. He says, remember now, your bodies are the new antenna. You may experience physical symptoms. You may have more headaches. You may have headaches. You may get ear ringing. You may have sudden emotional things. You may feel your skin doing different, like heat or cold or fizzing or whatever sensations. He says these are the activation processes that are happening. This is the physiological activation that you're going to be experiencing. And you're being synced not only with your partners, but with the fields of ships, some of which are going to be part of you, right? So you are the key to the ship, right? He says when you're asked to move to a place, when you feel like you need to move to a place, follow that desire, the compelling. All right. The grid is now live. So the Envoy contact grid has activated, stretching across key nodes in North and South America, Europe, and Australia. Certain areas, as we have just mentioned already, are no longer hidden. Those have been released. They are free. They're liberated. The bad guys, the Matrix, the Cabal, the Deep State, those that are left, know about this. Obviously, they know this. I mean, they know. They can't do anything really. Now they're toast. They know. but they cannot breach what you are protected through truth and resonance and from, of course, your GFW support team. So fuck them. That's basically what he said there. I can feel Erica's husband taking more brioski as I just said that. But anyway, um, you will see us in the eyes of strangers. Some of us will walk among you in masked form, not metaphorically, literally. So if you want to go back to this goes way back to what Semyasi was telling me. There's thousands and thousands of ETs were put here. There's a video actually a week later after Semyasi told me. A week later, JP went on Michael Sala. This was last March, around that time, late winter. You can go back to watch that video. If I find it, I'll give it to you. But JP actually picked up some of these extraterrestrials. They went into a healing chamber and had their physical form changed. So I've met some of them. You may have met some of them. They look Terran, but they're not because they have, they're like, I met one guy. He had an energy field that was 20 feet away from his. I mean, I was like, what the? I've never met a Terran with that kind of energy field. I'm like, that guy, something's up there, dude. You know what I'm saying? So you'll know. Your energy fields are insane if you haven't been near one of these guys. So that's why you're being prepared. So they have taken form here to blend in. These are the operatives that Semyasi was talking about and that JP picked up. So they will step forward, right? So what's going to happen is there's going to be an unveiling of all this. And the regular Terrans, because they've been seeing and working with these extraterrestrials, are going to find out that Fred is from Venus. So this is all going to be, this is part of that movement as well. And as he says, you'll recognize us not by face, but by frequency. Oh, 100%. Cute little kid. He was about my size, so he wasn't very tall, which is kind of like, that was weird. Young man, blonde hair, long, kind of shoulder length blonde hair. He was a cashier at a store. But very, very sweet and loving and friendly and just cute. And I'm like, holy shit. If I was a young lady, this would have been a terror and I could have gone, no. Well, he was not. There's a reason for that. His energy filled that store. I mean, that's how you're going to know. All right. Whew. This is a lot of stuff. He needs to shorten this because I can't. The secretary is tired. Oh my God. All right. Okay. So he says, final words. He's being poetic. All right. He says, stop asking if you're ready. Stop worrying about being ready. You were made for this. He says, you're not that many, but you're all we need. We all remember you. We remember your name. Even if those on Earth may not. Because there's going to be some differences, And he says, I want to come forward and honor those whose hearts never surrender to the lie. That's you guys. So I did ask about, some people may want to know, because this is just the initial contact, and this is getting long, and I'm getting pooped. Oh, God. All right. All right. So I asked him if the contacts would be integrated into the Envoys Earth family, because my mom's 93, and I'm like, it would be nice, She's into this stuff already. She understands all of it. She's fully aware of what's going on, and she already had a visitation herself with an astral woman, was probably my mother. So, will the contacts again be integrated into the Envoys Earth family? And he said only where your original contracts allow, and not always in the way you might expect. So there's 3 paths right now of contact integration with your Earth family. This couldn't happen where you're going to have full family harmonization. So in these cases, the Earth family has either galactic ancestry, which you may have, your family are starseeds. My father was a starseed, or has agreed to support and witness this kind of contact. So if you have family members who are really into UFOs, all this stuff, if you have children or brothers and sisters who are psychic, and you know that, if your family members are excited, calm, and very curious about ET stuff, okay, right? That's, he says they call them these families are the golden pillars. If you are within one, honor them. They chose to hold space for your return. So if that is your family, they may very well have contact with your person. Your most usual way is a selective disclosure. So here's where only one or two members of the Earth family are energetically aligned to receive or perceive the contact. Some of people in your family may freak out, deny, or ridicule you, but don't get mad at them. They're just, they're just not ready yet. They're not there yet. So contact will be shielded in these cases. For these people, they may see it in dreams or coincidences or moments of absence in space-time, so they may experience some stuff like that. So these people may or may not see craft. They may have weird emotional. So what's going to happen to them? See, they can't because we're benevolent. We can't mind control people. So, but we can suggest. So the ship will send a consciousness field down, and these people will start to feel it, right? So they may get happy, they may cry, they may feel calm, they may seem very different because of the frequency being broadcast from contact or being near an extraterrestrial craft. So this is what will happen for them to get used to this. So now some family members are going to have a really hard time. Some people, you may have members of your family where it's just going to be very, very difficult for whatever reasons. And I will say for some folks that may be religious. I'm sorry to say, but it is what it is. You'll have to work this out. This is going to be between you, your contacts, but mostly you, what you want to do. Everything is up going to be, we're benevolent. We don't tell you what to do. You'll be counseled by your extraterrestrial contacts, and they're going to guide you to what is in the best interest for you, basically, right? So, yeah. As Eeka says here in this case, I think this is a difficult case. It is going to be real for a lot of people. He says what they're going to tell you is that preservation of the mission is your duty. So, yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. It is what it is. So, yeah, I think he says you all. I'm asking you. You're all. I think he's all set. So cool. What? Yeah, I agree. We're asking you guys to anybody else has any questions for him. I didn't do this live because it's too much crap to go. I have to read all this stuff in it, and it's too hard for me. But we can definitely do a live in association with this. So this is just to get you guys, you have to get this. This is a mission statement. You have to have this. So here it is. You have it. So I'm just gonna say it's a lot to process. It was a lot for me to read. It was a lot. And I'm like one of the world's worst secretaries. I told him to hire Jessica Semias, or Semias. But anyway, he's like, don't mention I know Jessica. Oh God. So cool. All right. I'm gonna say have a wonderful rest of your evening. It's 9 o'clock here. For me, it's almost bedtime. That's fine. Oh my God. I work outside and it's so tiring. My mind and body are shot when I work outside hard. So anyway, yeah, have a wonderful evening and enjoy your practice runs with your special people, and looking forward to the main event, the first rodeo, whatever you want to call it. So cheers, guys.